My name is James McNeil, and this is my COM presentation on the most commonly abused substances in our society, which are caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine. Of these three, caffeine is by far the most popular, with a lot of long-term side effects that most people don't consider. Nicotine, another drug which we are very conditioned to, surpasses the addictive properties of even caffeine. The long-term effects of consuming large quantities of alcohol, especially when combined with poor nutrition, can lead to permanent damage to vital organs. NBC writes that alcohol is responsible for the deaths of over 75,000 Americans each year. Caffeine is also known as a very addictive and dangerous drug. It is the most commonly used behaviorally active substance in the world, with an average of 120 to 210 milligrams of daily intake per person in the United States, Canada, or the United Kingdom. Long-term use of caffeine can lead to addiction, insomnia, and higher risk for stroke and heart attack. The dangers of ingesting large amounts of caffeine are still in question. The first case of fatality induced by caffeine was recorded in 1909, but no prevalent data was ever recorded to justify this event. Common side effects of a caffeine overdose begin with feelings of agitation, nausea, restlessness, heart palpitations, and respiratory distress. Presently, however, there are over 5 cases of fatalities that have resulted from caffeine that are currently under investigation by the FDA. Nicotine, in its close affiliation to cigarette addiction, has a long history of being misrepresented in the media as glamorous, when in fact it is very dangerous and deadly. There is an infinite number of studies that have linked the use of tobacco and to various cancers ranging from anywhere from lung, bowel, mouth, and in some cases breast cancer. Nicotine addiction takes months, even years to develop, and exactly how long it takes has always been a guess. DeFranza partnered up with others at the University of Massachusetts to conduct a study that determined how soon individuals showed signs of cigarette addiction. According to DeFranza, the highly addictive properties of nicotine found in cigarettes and other tobacco products onset almost immediately after there is a sufficient amount in the bloodstream. It immediately triggers remodeling in the brain. Alcohol is another very, very dangerous drug. The physiological effects of alcohol begin in the stomach when it penetrates the mucosa or stomach lining. Once inside the tissue, the alcohol exerts its effects on the body. A large amount of alcohol is ingested, an individual can experience dehydration. The next major organ that is affected by alcohol is the liver, which loses its protective properties, leading to excessive production of free radicals, which ravage the body. Lastly, due to the excessive loss of fluid and inhibited cell functions induced by ethanol in an individual's immune system may be depressed, as well as the amount of vitamins and minerals in their body is greatly reduced. The effects that alcohol has on the central nervous system disables essential mental processes that can lead to bizarre behaviors such as aggressiveness and impulsiveness and decreased cognitive function. Each of us need to be aware of these long-term side effects that result from these substances. If we are aware of these effects, then perhaps we can make the decision not to use them or use them more responsibly. All 3 of these substances are very addictive, damaging, and commonplace in our society. Thank you. Now I'll take questions.
So, Are they as dangerous in that order, like in the order you presented them?
I think that by far alcohol is the most dangerous because there's a lot of accidents due to alcohol, as well as its damaging effects on the body, but it may not be the most ignored. I think that caffeine is in a lot of things and it's very just looked over and it's very damaging to the body.
Do you think that caffeine is the most damaging because it's just super addictive, or because it actually like?
I just think that it's overlooked a lot and people tend to get it constantly, like all the time. Like people realize that alcohol is damaging, but caffeine is around all the time and people just don't seem to realize it. And it's very damaging.
Any questions?
Okay.
Questions?
When does alcohol abuse usually start in people, and where does it come from?
When does alcohol abuse start?
When does it usually start in people, and what is the reason?
Well, college is usually when alcohol abuse starts. Experimentation, I suppose.
Are there any other reasons though?
It just is pleasurable and people are always seeking pleasure, even if it damages their bodies. We just need to be aware of these damages.
Why is it that some people have alcohol abuse their whole entire lives and they live to be 100? Other people abuse alcohol till they're 40 and they die from alcoholism at
Just
40.
genetics and diet. If you combine poor diet with alcohol, then it tends to do a lot more damage to your kidney and liver. And I think that's all. Thank you.